Well, hello and welcome. I'm Misheard with Misheard Song Lyrics Podcast. We're in season 7, episode 322. We're doing misheard lyric of "Can't find a pyramid," and the correct lyrics is "Can't find a better man." If you haven't guessed it already, it's Pearl Jam, and it's their song "Better Man." The last time I did a Pearl Jam misheard song lyric when was that? That was back on season 5, episode 215. That originally aired back on October 11th, 2023. So we've hit the 2-year mark with the last time we did a Pearl Jam misheard. That's when I was doing Jerry smoked in class today. And the correct lyrics is Jeremy spoken class today. I should, honestly, I should do a Pearl Jam in karaoke because I got it. Well, that was 2 years ago, and time flies when you're doing misheard rock lyrics. So this one's a classic, as just like the other, and it's Better Man. So let's talk about it. It's one of their most iconic songs. Here's what you might have heard, like I was saying earlier, "Can't find a pyramid." And the real lyric, obviously, is "Can't find a better man," which is also the title of the song. Yep, not an ancient Egyptian tomb, not a geometry test gone wrong, just Eddie Vedder pouring his heart out about a relationship that's, well, less than ideal, okay? It's one of those misheard moments that sounds so right, you don't even question it. Like maybe Eddie's searching for the lost city of Giza instead of love. I'm just talking out of my ass here. Anyway, so let's dig into the story behind Better Man. This song was written by the full band. It actually came straight from Eddie Vedder's teenage years. Best time, right? Teenage angst. He wrote in high school before Pearl Jam even existed. He once said, quote unquote, "I wrote Better Man before I could drink legally on a 4-track in my old apartment." He first performed it when his early days were all the way with a San Diego band called Bad Radio. The tempo was faster, but the emotion was already there. Funny enough, though, when Pearl Jam started recording Vitology, their third studio album released in 1994, yours truly was 22, some of the band members didn't want to record it. They thought it sounded too pop, too mainstream for their gritty sound they were known for. Thank goodness for all of us, Eddie pushed for it. And thank goodness he did, because Better Man ended up being the Billboard album rock track chart and topping it. It stayed at #1 for 8 weeks. All without ever being released as a single. That's pretty good. That's the power of a good song and a better man. All right? Now, here's where Better Man gets really personal. This is the story behind the song. So Eddie Vedder once introduced a song on VH1 Storytellers. I do miss that show, as being about abusive relationships. And according to songfacts.com, the song was about a woman who stays with a man she doesn't love because she doesn't think she can do any better. Boy, that's a touchy subject, but it's one that I see all the time. It's even in my world, okay? And Eddie had his stepfather in mind when he wrote it. His mother remarried after his biological father passed away, and Eddie believed for a long time that his stepfather was actually his real dad. When he found out the truth, it hit him hard, I can only imagine. And before performing Better Man at a show in Atlanta in 1994, Eddie dedicated it, quote unquote, to the bastard that married my mama. That pain, that complicated family story runs through so much of his writing, including Alive, which was inspired by the same family revelation. So lots attached to that, I can only imagine. You can really feel that honesty in his voice, that raw, aching baritone that became one of the defining sounds of the 1990s. Okay? All right, so let's talk about Eddie Vedder himself, the man named Eddie Jerome Vedder. He was born almost Christmas baby. He was born back on December 23rd, 1964 in Evanston, Illinois. He grew up not even knowing who his real father was. Like I said earlier, he moved to San Diego as a teenager, actually picked up a guitar at 12 and found solace in music, especially The Who's Quadrophenia. That album became his emotional lifeline. He said, quote unquote, "When I was around 15 or 16, I was all alone except for music." And after some rough teenage years, dropping out of school and working night shifts at a drugstore, he eventually did get his GED and started chasing music full time, and thank God he did. Let's fast forward a few years, and he's now fronting Pearl Jam, joining Temple of the Dog and redefining the voice of generation. He has since released solo albums like Into the Wind in 2007, Ukulele Songs in 2011, I gotta check that out, and Earthling in 2022. And just later, in June of 2024, just last year, he even released a cover of the English Beats Save It for Later for the TV show The Bear. So those of you who have been watching The Bear, you know this already. Now here's a fun connection. Pearl Jam often performs Better Man live as a medley with Save It for Later because Eddie had admitted that the chord progression of Better Man was inspired by that very same song by the English Beats, Save It for Later. It's a musical full circle moment. Okay, so let's talk about how did it do? And what were the nuggets for your next Pearl Jam trivia night that you'll have in your back pocket ready to go? Well, Better Man was the most successful track from Vitalogy, even without a single release. Like I said, it won recognition at the 13th Annual ASCAP Pop Music Awards in 1995 for being one of the most performed songs that year. At one point, Eddie actually tried to give Better Man to Greenpeace for a charity record, planning to have Chrissie Hynde from The Pretenders sing it. That would have been awesome. They even booked a session at the Skywalker Ranch studio. Very, very important, right? But Chrissie never showed up. I would love to hear her story, what happened. And then the idea was scrapped. Pearl Jam's bandmates, however, were secretly relieved because they wanted the song for themselves. And sometimes fate and a no-show works out perfectly. And in this case, it did. So now we know that, this song has a lot to do with Eddie's upbringing, not knowing that his current dad that he knew was actually his stepfather. And it's not about pyramids. So next time you're belting at "Can't Find a Pyramid," just remember Eddie Vedder wasn't searching for a lost ancient wonder. He was searching for something much harder to find, a better man. And so, again, I appreciate this misheard song lyric. Got it from someone via email, and they said, "Have you done this?" I'm like, "No, it's been a while." If you have any great suggestions like this misheard song lyric, like "Can't Find a Pyramid" for Pearl Jam, please send it to any of our sites like our Facebook, our Instagram. You can even send me a good old-fashioned email at misheard. That's at MISSHEARD songs@gmail.com. Also, if you missed our last Pearl Jam misheard episode, go back and check out season 5, episode 215, where I thought Jeremy, he was saying smoked in class today. It's still one of my all-time favorites. But don't forget to subscribe when you listen to our podcast. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Until then, keep singing those songs wrong. Bye.